The Tesla Model 3 has been out for a little over 3 years in the USA and even less time in Europe, but a major update has already arrived. Tesla has been incrementally improving the Model 3, as with all its cars, via software updates. There have even been a few small hardware tweaks like the inclusion of the wireless phone charger from the Model Y and in the Model 3 earlier in 2020. However, the 2021 bump is a much bigger update and delivers one very significant hardware change that may have recent Model 3 buyers wishing they had waited a few more months. Here are the most important differences. Before we continue to showcase this 2021 Model 3, take your time to give this video a like and subscribe to this channel for all the latest news on Tesla. It would help the channel out massively, and thanks a lot. Exterior trim. Let's start with how the new cars look. There are some minor changes to the external appearance of the Model 3 compared to the original, or major changes depending on your point of view. A popular modification to the original Model 3 has been a chrome delete, which covers up the chrome trim with black vinyl. Now, Tesla is doing the chrome delete out of the factory, so all the trim around the window and the triangular camera populace just behind the front wheel are black rather than shiny chrome. You may or may not have disliked the chrome trim. It's common in recent cars that manufacturers as diverse as Nissan and Mercedes. But the general view is it looks better. The new 20-inch Uber turbine wheels on the Model 3, which replace the previous 20-inch rims, are more controversial, although they do apparently improve the range. A less obvious change is the inclusion of double glazed windows. In fact, I say less obvious, it's nearly impossible to tell they're there by looking. This is not a cosmetic change, but intended to reduce the audibility of exterior noise and improve insulation, which will benefit climate control power consumption whether it's cold out or you're trying to keep warm, or vice versa. However, there is a much more significant improvement to the way the climate control works. The big change: a heat pump. When the Tesla Model Y launched, one inclusion in particular made Model 3 owners jealous: its heat pump. The easiest way to understand what a heat pump does would be to imagine a fridge working in reverse. If you put your hands on the radiator of the back of your fridge, you'll notice that it's warm, but the inside of the fridge is cold. Heat has extracted from the interior and radiated to the exterior. If you put the cold bit outside and the radiator inside, you can extract heat from the external area and bring it inside. This will even work if the weather is below freezing. Think of your freezer, which also has a warm radiator on the back. This is a much more efficient way of providing heat than using wire-based heating elements, because heat is being transferred rather than generated. In fact, it's being considered as a way to replace home gas boilers with electrically fueled heating that's much more cost-efficient than electric element radiators. For electric vehicles, heat pumps address one of the stock criticisms that EV range drops in cold weather due to the electricity consumption by their heaters. With heat pumps being up to 3 times more efficient than regular element heaters, the energy savings can be considerable in cold weather. The only downside for the Model 3 is that the front trunk is a little bit smaller, because that's where the heat pump has to be installed. Speaking of trunks, or the boot if you're from the UK, this now has a powered opening mechanism. Minor interior tweaks. To go with the removal of shiny bling from the outside of the Model 3, the interior has lost the shiny black plastic surface on the central console, as well as some of the shiny silver trim. It has gained some classy stitching, but most importantly, the wireless phone charger, which was a plug-in addition to the previous Model 3 under a flap, is now a fully integrated tray for 2 phones. You don't lose the space underneath, however. The cubby further along now has a sliding door rather than a flip-up one, but that's the same size. And you get 2 side-by-side cup holders behind that, plus the usual armrest. There's now a USB port inside the glove compartment for the use with Tesla's all-seeing Sentry mode, which records activity all around the car when enabled. You can catch vandals or car park collisions from every angle. The same, but better. None of this has changed the driving dynamics of the Model 3, however. The Standard Range Plus version I drove was, as before, one of the best handling EVs on the market. The 0 to 60 remains at 5.3 seconds, which is only beaten by more expensive alternatives such as the Polestar 2 or the Jaguar I-Pace. The dual-motor cars do appear to be a little faster, with the long range now hitting 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds rather than 4.4, and the performance a mind-numbing 3.1 seconds instead of 3.2. However, Tesla's increased the Model 3 motor power by 5% in Q4 of 2019 via a software update, but didn't change the online specs, so in practice, there's likely very little difference in brute acceleration. Either way, the Model 3 dual-motor cars had, literally, eye-watering performance on tap already, and incredible driving dynamics for a 1.85-ton car. They corner like they're on rails and deliver their power immediately. This is a bit less of the case with the Standard Range Plus, but any Tesla Model 3 can give a fossil fuel GTI owner something to think about, and the performance will leave them cowering in your rearview mirror. In a short life, the Model 3 has managed to cruise past the venerable Nissan Leaf that has been available for nearly a decade in global sales, with nearly 650,000 now on the road. The 2021 version doesn't look or drive that differently from the first version, but the subtle changes, particularly the addition of the heat pump, just nudged the Tesla Model 3 that little bit further ahead of its competitors, with an even more impressive lead in range. Only the Polestar 2 has come close so far, without quite surpassing Tesla. We will see increasingly stiff competition from Volkswagen over the next couple of years, but right now, the 2021 Tesla Model 3 remains the king of mid-size electric executive saloons, and better than most fossil fuel power ones too. So now we've seen all the changes to the Model 3 for 2021, what would you like to see changed on the Model 3? Do you like the recent changes they made? Let us know in the comments below. Anyway, thank you for watching this episode. Make sure to leave us a like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you in the next one.